Welcome to the space. Hello, and welcome to the space between ideas. I'm Blaine Gates. We got a lot of work to do, and we got a lot of prompts. I took like a little bit of a summer vacation, and now the problem is that we got like. Let me just share the screen with you. So here's the windsurf uh, page. As you can see, it says we got 34 credits to go. 34? I mean, 34 credits per day. So how are we going to do it? 35 credits a day? It means, well, the thing is that it's not quite the same as it used to be. How are we gonna do this? Because, I can't use all those credits, um, based on the work that we're doing right now. Let me give you an example. So, if we talk about the 5 chatbots that we're using right now, so the number 1 chatbot, the new chatbot that I created is call this chatbot, uh, Signal, and its job is to kind of coordinate all of the different like, the 4 other chatbots. So we're currently working on something called the Go Live project plan. So let's first establish a high level plan. Think of our goal as the operation Go Live pipeline. This project has 2 main streams that we will tackle in order: the blog system and the lead magnet system. All right, what are we talking about? The blog system. We've spent the last little bit like really focusing on the journey page. The journey is called Project Arrowhead. Maybe I should change the word journey up there to Arrowhead. It's an interesting idea. And the idea is to get people like working, to get people inside of this app, task lists, and to start creating objectives, choosing objectives, turning them into actual plans, and getting things done. It's a project management tool. It's pretty much done. I mean, maybe I can do like some little tweaks here and there, but for the most part, it's finished. The download issue, I solved all the download stuff. We have some, if we download the full project, then here we can, so here it is. So here's the project overhead. This is the full report. So this one has the task list. You can see everything seems to be working fine. And then we jump into the brainstorming module. I changed this text, so it's fine. There's no issues with bleeding from one page to another. Uh, then we jump from brainstorming module, then we jump into the choose module, which is called, I guess, choose or decision making module. Compare your options against clear defined criteria. So we change that text. And then if there's no response, then this is what it looks like. So everything's fine. Everything works. I mean, there are some like little things where it's like your response, so it's like ending here and then like, but anyways, that's not a big deal. And then after the decision modules, the objective planning module will transfer your strategic decision into a concrete action plan. So it still has the instructions, it's the questions. So it's fine. Everything works. Everything, there's no problems anywhere. It's the base idea is that it works, which I'm happy about. The only thing I'm not happy about is like I was so focused on this task for so long with the belief that maybe it would just never work. And so I was actually kind of secure in the idea that it just wouldn't work and that I would just keep doing it and just keep hitting my head against the wall and that I would never actually succeed at this. And I never actually took into consideration the possibility that I would actually succeed. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but it's just that it's been so many years working on this, and there's like so many places where it could fail, and there's like so many difficulties, and it's just I never actually thought that we could do it. I was just working on it, because it was the thing I thought was most interesting. I just couldn't believe that it would actually get done. So I had like a panic attack yesterday because once I completed that page, then now it's like, well, now what do I do? So I think the next thing is about like the blog system. What do we mean by blog system? So this is now getting really deep because as you can see on the website, there's this strategic insights blog, expert advice on business strategy and planning. Now, these blogs are not real. I didn't write these blogs. And so like and also I don't want to have to update the like the code every time I add a blog article to the website. So in order to solve this, I suppose, I mean, I don't even know the answer. So phase one discovery, we need to get a complete shared understanding of the blog's current code and the plan to make it functional. This is what the prompt below is for. Phase two is the infrastructure setup. Based on our plan, Webmaster will set up the necessary backend services like Cloudflare configuration, the decap CMS, etc. Phase three, development and integration. Architect 8, working with Cascade. Architect 8. So I did have to yesterday. I did have to recalibrate a new architect. Working with Cascade will modify the existing front end components to connect them to the new backend CMS. Phase four, the content population vortex will provide finalized blog posts to be loaded into the CMS. Yeah, I did some work with the blog post last night. When I took the dog for a walk, I realized I can use my phone and then I can just like open up Gemini on my phone. And so like as I was walking, I was talking to Gemini and we were able to get like a lot of work done by, uploading some of my ideas. And then we got what? So we got the phase five is deployment and verification. We will deploy the final integrated system and test the end-to-end flow to ensure it all works perfectly. We will follow this exact same five-phase process for the lead magnet system. Yeah, so the lead magnet system is we need to create a series of emails which share these videos. So you can see there's like the background, the introduction, and then like think better, do better. Then we got the table of contents, and then we have okay, we got 5A, B, C. So that's the corporate menu, and then we have the internal work cycle. Then we have force field analysis, and then we have something about review. We got the endeavor cycle, deliberate practice, ABC. We got OKRs, we got cube thinking, we got targets. So like basically there's 20 videos, but it's around 6, 7 different topics. So I think it's going to break down into basically 7 or 8 emails. And the whole purpose is to get people used to getting emails from us and like feeling like there's some value in getting these emails. So as you can see, that is going to connect up to the get our free course page. So this is where we have to create like a sales page. And then the blog, I think, is much more complicated because it's going to be like connecting in some, I don't know, CMS. What is CMS? So idea what any of this stuff is. I feel like it's probably going to take a long time and that like we're not going to be able to use all of our credits on Windsurf this month. We've got 9 days, which means like what can I do to like start to use up those credits? So what are some other like processes that we could start to work on in order to use those credits? Um, I mean, we can start to build the actual paid version of the app. Uh, I think it's just a sunk cost, actually, because there's no point in like doing something just to do it when we have a very clear path forward. So let's just keep focusing on this. Maybe we can just like try to get as much work done as possible. So spend more time, spend more hours each day. Try to pump out what 30 to 40. So I need to use 40 tokens on Windsurf each day. That's hours. That's like, that's like at least that's probably 4 hours of work every day, at least 4 hours of work. Unified discovery prompt. As you requested, here's a single unified prompt to get the complete picture of the blog system. All right, so we're going to focus on the blog system first. Take the entire prompt to Cascade, architect, webmaster, team. This is unified discovery prompt. our objective is to create a definitive technical brief. And then, so this is what Cascade is going to be prompted on. This is what Architect is going to be prompted on. This is what Webmaster is going to be prompted on. Anyway, so I also passed it to Vortex. So this is what happened. Here's the signal from the noise, the most critical information from the team's reports. The plan is solid. Webmaster's explanation of the get-based CMS flow, Vortex writes, CMS commits to get, Cloudflare auto builds, is the correct and definitive plan. This is our North Star for the blog system. Critical security risk identified. Cascade's most important finding is a high priority XSS security vulnerability. The use of dangerously set inner HTML without proper sanitization is a showstopper. An attacker could potentially inject malicious code through the CMS. This must be the first thing we fix. Path to persistence. Cascade confirms the current blog runs on an ephemeral in-memory database, meaning all posts are wiped on restart. The core engineering task is to replace this with a system that reads the markdown files that the CMS will be creating. Project plan, we have successfully completed phase 1. We will now begin phase 2, the infrastructure setup. Unblock Architect 8. The Cascades report is the key to Architect waiting for. Your step is to hand off the report and task with them to create the detailed development plan. Take this prompt to Architect 8. Architect 8, here's the complete technical report from Cascade that you required. You are now unblocked. Please provide your detailed step-by-step development plan to refactor the blog system. Your plan must prioritize the 2 primary objectives, security first and persistent storage. And then authorize webinar. Take this prompt to webinar. Okay, so then did we actually do that? Architect 8. Here's a complete technical report. Jump into Architect 8. Phase 1. Our first action is to eliminate the critical XSS vulnerability in the blog post. Step 1, install dependencies. Step 2, refactor content rendering. Step persistent storage implementation backend. Establish content directory. Implement. Okay, so what do I do with this? Can you tell Signal what we think is the next step and what you can do in the process? All right, so my assumption here is what we should do is we're gonna copy this response. I'm gonna go over to Cascade. You can't see it because it's on my other, because right now I'm sharing the Chrome tab. So and then so then we want to signal the detailed development plan is complete and ready for execution. All right, anyways. So I gave the whole plan to Signal, and most likely Signal will also have some opinions. All right, so okay, I'm gonna paste that to here, and then I'm gonna put Signal. The detailed development plan for operation system is complete and ready for execution. Um, can you check the plan and offer input and recommend any changes? Plan will be executed sequentially, beginning at the highest priority. My role as architect is to direct the implementation. Okay, so here is a message from architect. There. So I just used one more token. One token. Now we got 343. All right, so it's just gonna start working. Um, what's next? Let's jump into let's update. I'm gonna just copy, in fact. Let's jump back into Signal. So I provided this prompt for Cascade from Architect. And let's jump into Webmaster. Mm, Vortex logs into the DCAP CMS admin panel, which will be accessible at the URL. The CMS commits to get. Get triggers Cloudflare. Cloudflare builds the site. Vit generates the pages. Deployment. The new blog post is live. Analogy. Okay. Requirement infrastructure. GitHub repository. Cloudflare pages. DCAP CMS. Configuration. Here's the steps I'll now take to configure the live environment. GitHub permission. I will first ensure Cloudflare application has the necessary. All right. The initial deployment of the current code base to the Cloudflare pages is complete. So it actually hallucinates. This is not complete. So here is super base setup. Is that's the actual thing we need to work on. I'm still waiting for super base. Right, so I'm gonna have to copy and paste this to Cascade and ask Cascade what it thinks about these three items. And then we need to start working on Cloudflare. And then also we need to actually write the blog article. Last night when I was going for a walk with the dog, I came up with some algorithms and I was thinking about exactly what am I going to do with this situation with this blog? Because I was thinking about some concepts. For example, hook. There's a book called Hooked. And the question is, well, if we combine two different ideas, let's combine the idea of Porter's five forces. So and then to simplify it to Porter's three forces. So Porter's three forces include so he wants you to focus on your established competitors, meaning like who has market share, who has the major market share in this particular industry. And then the innovative competitors means like who's coming in and trying to steal market share. And then from a bigger picture, there's also the concept of substitutes. And so those are some of the things that we need to start to consider. And once we have a list of our established competitors, our innovative competition and also substitutes, then we can start to think about how these companies are um, how they deliver value to their customers. We need to think about the elements of the value proposition, and we need to think about the elements of the value proposition from a couple of different areas. One is the actual product or service itself. Next, it's the marketing messages which help people to understand this product, but also understand the issue, the pain point that they're feeling, and potential solutions. And then also it has to kind of connect with their psychology so that it hits them at a deeper level than just we have a solution to your problem. But we need to go deeper and figure out how we can provide some value in our marketing messaging system. And then there's, of course, there's the customer service element at some point, the delighting the customer aspect of the inbound marketing funnel. So we got all these things to consider. And then, well, the question is, when you're writing a blog article, what do you want that blog article to do? So in here, we have basically, it says here that this algorithm treats the blog post like a structured step-by-step workshop. It breaks the learning and action into manageable chunks, creating a rhythm of learned a concept, then immediately apply it. So I was talking to Vortex about this problem. So here's algorithm A. So for example, you have the title, you have some attention grabbing headline. For example, beyond the buzzwords, the first question every team must answer before brainstorming. We got the introduction. So I talked about this concept called priming the pump. Since we're going to be talking about step one of the brainstorming module, it means like, what are the competitors doing? What are these new innovative competitors? What are the substitutes? Like other entities that are providing solutions for this pain point, people who have value propositions. What is it that they are doing, and how is it that they're maintaining market share, and how is it that they are gaining market share? And so before we start to brainstorm, we need to actually look at like what's actually happening in reality. I call this priming the pump. And the idea of priming the pump is like, if you want your team to be good at brainstorming, the first thing that they have to do is they have to do their research to figure out what is going on. What's the reality on the ground? So establishes the core problem and promises a solution, naturally includes the primary long tail keywords, and then we got the core philosophy. So I was also talking to Vortex. I gave it some example, for example, chicken and the egg. This goes back into priming the pump, or the idea that you're not building something from nothing. You're building your the competitors already have systems. They're already implementing best practices. You're not inventing the egg. You have to look at the chickens. What are the chickens actually doing in reality? And then from those chickens, you're going to produce an egg. So it means we need to focus on the chickens first. The visually distinct call out box with 3 steps. Go to the app. All right, now this is like technical, like structural, and this is what I mean by the value proposition and the purpose of the blog article. You see, what is the purpose of the blog article? It's to get them to go into the app. So, for example, this is your blog article. Now, if my blog article says, "Hey, take this prompt and put it into your chat GPT," then what you're doing is you're actually directing people away from your website. We want to direct people to the website, meaning from the blog article, it needs to connect directly into, for example, what we're talking about today is this one. Talking about the first step to innovation is understanding the landscape. Look at what competitors, industry leaders, and even successful entities in other fields are doing, right? So competitors, industry leaders, successful entities in other fields. So we're talking about the Porter's three forces to some extent, and we're saying, hey, let's look at these chickens, and before we start trying to lay eggs, what are other people's doing? So we want to get them right into the product. That's the point of the blog article. Get them into the product. Now, here it is, argument. All innovation is evolution. We must create something from something. Exactly. Okay, so action block. The visually distinct call out box with these 3 steps. Go to the app, ready to start, open up step one, imitate in the new tab. Use this prompt, copy the main question from the app and ask your AI chatbot, then follow up with the prompt to go deeper. All right, so you see what I'm asking them to do is saying, hey, look, you can copy and paste this text into your chatbot. Like, I'm just telling them right away, just copy and paste this text. What's the point in you thinking when you can get a robot to do your thinking for you? Not only that, after you do that, then I want you to then insert this new prompt, right? So now we're getting them to go to the chatbot, and then we're getting them to come back to the blog. So, like, what did we just do? What we did was we got them to go to the step one of the brainstorming module, and then we got them to go back to the chatbot, and then we got them to come back here because now they got to copy this prompt number one. Then they go back to their chatbot, and then they're going to be pasting this information. And then what? Paste your AI's response into the Project Arrowhead text box to save it. Remember, you can use this page as a presentation tool later. What? You see now the element of the value proposition. What is the value proposition? I'm saying that the Project Arrowhead, this tool, first of all, value number one is you can copy and paste the text. You can put it in your AI chatbot. Great. Value proposition number two. Okay, so now the blog article is going to give you an additional prompt that you can use to go deeper into this process of thinking. Value proposition number three, you can paste the text into this and it will save it in your browser. And value proposition number four, when you want to make a presentation, then you don't have to create a separate PPT. You don't have to create separate Google Slides. You already have, this is your presentation. So we pop this up. We say, hey, everyone, so today I want to talk about imitating trends. So I'm going to be using a methodology called Project Arrowhead, and today we're going to use the brainstorming module. Step one is one of 5 steps. So let's start with the instructions. So let's look at these instructions. The first step to innovation is understanding the landscape. So it gives you the actual presentation introduction. Then it goes into the question. Now, the question, it doesn't, like, nobody's seeing the additional prompt that's from the blog article. They're just seeing the text that you pasted in here. All right. And we can make the text box bigger, right? So we can scroll up and down. So the presentation is like, it's already ready for you to go. And then someone says, hey, like, I got an idea. Okay, what is your idea? Then you can add, you can write down the tasks or the concepts. You can write down the person's name, right? So there's actually a way for you to add additional information or tasks that will be saved on another page. All right, so look at all this value that we're getting from this process. And we're also doing a little bit of work. And then we suddenly have this internal trigger. What's the internal trigger? So the variable reward, it's like how people react to this process. And if they have like a good reaction, then it's going to create an internal trigger to come back into our blog articles and to get value from our blog articles, to use our Project Arrowhead application, both for personal planning and with your AI chatbot, and also as a presentation tool. So, like, there's so many different elements of the marketing aspect of the value proposition, which is being presented in this blog article. All right, so next we go to section 2. So now we're going to talk about the difference between red ocean pirates, blue ocean explorers. The argument is that both strategies require a map of the known world. I don't know about that, but the point is, like, red ocean, it means you have to know what the competition is doing, and blue ocean is like, how are you ever going to get to the blue ocean if you don't understand even like yeah, I guess it's true, what's going on like in the nearest area around you. So then we got another call out box. Okay, so now let's add to your notes. Take your previous AI output and use this new prompt. All right, so now it's gonna like you're gonna go deeper, add these new insights to the text box in the app. Then we got the practical toolkit. So introduce actionable first 3 questions from Porter's 5 forces. Final call out box. Finalize your notes. Let's turn this into a final summary. Use this prompt. I mean, it's at the end, it seems a little bit repetitive. Anyways, you get the point. So what I did was I was just talking to Vortex quite a bit about the idea about like what the blog article should be about. And then we went deeper into like what is the structure, in fact. Now let's just do the last thing. I gotta go, I got a meeting, but the last thing to do was just recommended requirements. So I'm just gonna what's his name? Cascade is finished doing its execution notes install. It actually does something about gray matter, but I'm just gonna tell Signal also commented on this workflow. What do you think of its ideas? And then I'm just gonna paste that into Cascade. All right, so we're gonna let Cascade just work on that. Basically, what's gonna happen the rest of the day is I'm gonna keep going to Cascade, back to Cascade a million times in order for it to actually start to implement that. But the main issue for right now is actually setting up that Superbase account. Thanks for joining me, and we'll catch you next time if I can find the screen.